Hey guys, we're back again for another episode of Friday Flawgic. I'm Jeff Nelson, CEO here at Adapt Training, along with Brian Cassidy, founder of Adapt Training. And we're with our friends here at Uptown Beer Co. And actually this week, they're promoting, it's their in-house brewery, Binary Brewing Company. It's a sample pack. These guys have been amazing. Part of the Make May Matter, this definitely helps with that. So
we need all the variety in our life we can get. Right. So never drink the same beer twice in a row, and this pack will take care of you.
And they deliver. So look online, you got the website right there. We really appreciate them doing this for us. So Brian, we've talked about kind of in our Make May Matter series here as we've kind of transitioned our Friday Flawgic and how we can help our people out there, but we talked to the general population about why you need to plant a flag, take your health seriously during this month. Last week we talked about young athletes and they don't have access to the things that they normally do. And now there's people out there that need therapy and they're kind of in this same mode. I mean, how do you approach those type of people?
Well, the hard part about the therapy is it's not essential. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people say, well, it's just pain or it's just something that's diminished. I am getting old. But what we got to look at the thing I hear the most when you hear about physical therapy, I can line up 10 people and I can say, what's your opinion on physical therapy? Number 10 says it's the best thing that ever happened to me. Number 9 says it doesn't work. Number 8 says it doesn't work. And they'll just put it all together in one topic, like physical therapy as a thing. And you're not, when you see a physical therapist, you're seeing that physical therapist with their techniques, with their approach, maybe dictated by an insurance company. So when you're like, I tried physical therapy and it didn't work, no, your physical therapist didn't work. Right. That approach didn't work. It didn't address the condition. So what we really have to do, instead of having this huge label of should I see a physical therapist, should I see a chiropractor, which practitioner, you have to look for a practitioner that knows exactly the cause of your symptom or problem, not just the physical therapy title itself.
Well, and that's an important one. You just said the cause. I don't know that a lot of people think about that. I'm going to see a therapist to get relief from pain or something. How would you speak to that, like the cause versus just treatment?
Well, it's one of those things, if the pain doesn't go away and you don't see improvement, the next step is surgery, whether people understand what surgery is.
Right.
So when you're looking at the cause, my favorite analogy to use is, if you walked into a therapy clinic and you showed them your arm, this huge bruise on your arm, it's like, I can barely lift my arm, it's killing me, I got all this discoloration, I'm in a lot of pain here. Well, the average therapist will look at that bruise or look at and assess it. And they've been taught to. It's like, what causes a bruise in terms of the chemistry? How do I alleviate pain? Do I numb it with ice externally? Do I try to reduce the swelling? But what if there's a guy that looks like me standing next to you hitting the hell out of your arm? What's the cause of the bruise on your arm? Me hitting you on the arm. But because you're like, I've had this bruise, for 2 years. And I'm pretty tired from hitting you for 2 years, but I'm just hitting you the entire time. Is the therapist looking for the cause? And there's actual approaches where they zoom in, and I could be standing right there, and they're not looking at alignment, they're not looking at function or movement. They're just saying, here's the symptom, here's what's wrong with you. How can I mask it, hide it, make you not think about it, change the mindset? So if they're trying to address the healing process, but they're, the elephant in the room is the guy hitting you in the arm, stop the guy hitting you in the arm and then allow the healing process to take place. Because we don't give the body a chance to heal itself. So when it comes to a mechanical issue in your shoulder, what's causing it? Friction. If a joint's rubbing against itself in a way it's not designed, okay? Impact. If it's hitting in a way that's not designed, so all our bones have a very specific shape to them. So if the shape is off, so the alignment's not there, and the connective tissue and the cushioning, we have natural, cushioning in our bodies that regenerate because we're organic. But if it's hitting the wrong spot or it's hitting too hard, it's going to cause a sensation to tell your brain, stop doing that. Pain is your check engine light in your car going off. That just means that mechanics are off. Something's creating friction, torque, pressure, impact. So we have to diminish that. So our approach is we're going to look first, where's the friction? Where's the dude hitting you? Where's the torque? Where's the tension? Where's the misuse? Where's the compensation? And then how do I retrain your muscles to move correctly without having to think about it? So how can I get your muscles to move enough that when you go to use your shoulder or lift something up, that they mechanically move correctly?
Well, so, and given the current climate, where so much traditional physical therapy is treatment, modality based, how can we affect that when we can't actually we can't do that hands-on treatment?
Yeah, the hardest part right now is, how do I translate how I've been taught, my techniques, to do it two-dimensional virtually on a screen. Can't touch you, can't move you passively, can't do any of the treatments that physical therapists can charge the insurance, whether it's ultrasound or STEM or all the new gadgets that are basically all STEM, or compression, or instead of just ice, now I have a super sleeve that pulses and shoots things. As long as you keep putting quarters in the sleeve, it'll keep taking care of your joint. And people pay for that, but it's not changing anything. So now they're scrambling. How do I still do my job over the screen? The beauty of our approach is the entire time we've been focusing on retraining your muscular system. By watching you move, by putting you through tests, by engaging certain muscles in certain sequences and training them to become more efficient, stronger, and develop endurance. So it's 100% translatable over the screen. So it doesn't skip a beat. And now, what's the other biggest reason that people don't take care of themselves? Convenience, time. Now we've eliminated you don't have to come in. Doesn't matter how far away. The next question is what? Oh, are you in my
network? Yeah.
Network. Is my doctor referred to you? And we're not obliged by any insurance company to do it their way.
Right. And that's I'm assuming part of the big reason, because I know you set that strategy from day one and we're told, frankly, you can't do it that way.
No. No, you can't, because if you have that friction in your shoulder, there could be 10 different reasons of how you are mechanically misusing your shoulder.
Right.
So the standardized techniques doesn't work for all 10. We have to figure out, we have to solve the problem. Why is your joint mechanically not working correctly? If you have a stiff neck, or you can't sleep wrong, by the way. Anybody who tells you that is selling you a pillow or a mattress or something. Well, how do I sleep? You can't sleep wrong. I got up and I slept wrong last night. I really hurt myself. No, you didn't. Can't do that to yourself in bed. If your body has tension to it when you lay down, and those muscles freeze up, and when you go to move in the morning without getting the muscles to move correctly, you get that dysfunction. You get that mechanical disadvantage, of trying to move your neck when certain muscles attached to your spine won't allow it to. And then you get a kink because you keep trying to move it.
Yeah.
That would be like, sitting in a car for 6 hours, and then sprinting when you get out of the car and say, wow, I sat wrong the whole time I was driving that car. No one's going to say that. So I was sitting wrong. Right. Because no, you tried to sprint after sitting on your butt for 6 hours. Yeah. So your muscles weren't ready to do it correctly. Right. So within that approach, we have to look at how much does your body need and why. So we give you a free session. I mean, it's one of those things that when I hear people say they won't do it, I can't help but just call them an idiot. Like, look, you're in pain, your quality of life, and you're not willing to look at an avenue that's free, that's going to educate you and give you information on what you might do next. Because when you go in and see a doctor, when you go in and see a therapist, you don't know what kind of treatments they're going to suggest. And most of the time, people put the blinders on and say, hey, if you do it, well, this one's not covered by insurance, it's another $12,000, or it's another, here's an injection of your blood platelets because you're just not healing correctly. It's like, no, knock the dude out that's hitting you on the arm and let's start there. So you can actually sign up for an evaluation, meet one of my physical therapists, go through a complete evaluation, and introduce the first routine to start the process of increasing the mechanical efficiency in your joint without paying a dime. So that you know that, hey, I'm going to invest in this. And our traditional, ours usually only 5 sessions. That's a joke. Usually it's 5 or 6 months for most programs.
2 times a week.
5 sessions. Yes. Every 3 to 4 days, you get an evaluation again to see how your body's reacting, to see if we're on the right path and introducing the right type of exercise to get your joints to move correctly. But you have a free session to learn about what's going on and to try to gain some insight. So even if you don't work with us, you will be more educated on what may or may not be causing your individual issue.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think that, especially as we're in this cycle of Make May Matter, just giving people an understanding that you don't have to wait until we're physically clear to come in and sit down. We can actually do this, and we're uniquely built to do this via that screen. because it's such a muscular-based approach, like you said.
Yeah, and like I said, it's training. It's not treatment.
Right.
It's the idea that, you know, if you have something wrong with you, you didn't get a disease. It's not because you didn't wear your mask at Safeway that your knee hurts. You know, there's something going on mechanically that you might have developed for years. You might have just started because of, you know, think about what we're doing now. We're moving differently in the last 2 months than we have in the last 10 years. So you might have lost some efficiency in one of your muscular structures. You might have overworked certain muscles and gotten stronger. So you've created an imbalance. So now all of a sudden your joint's slightly out of place. Spend the time. It's 5 weeks. You have an opportunity where you can have 40 minutes a day to take care of an issue, to not turn it into this long chronic issue that you're going to spend an ungodly amount of money and diminish your quality of life over a period of 10 to 20 years. And you're going to have the knowledge base to go, oh, I know I'm not moving my hip enough in this direction. I'm starting to feel the front of my knee again. That's a precursor that says my hip's getting a little tight. I better do some more of my exercises to keep it moving. Put you in control. Because you'll have these routines. It's not like, hey, when you're done, and then we'll see when something else pops up as you get older. We're going to train you. Like, here's how you need to keep moving to keep your body efficient. And that will be with you. You'll have your own training program to continue to do. And then you can just check in with us like a pit crew of a race car that says, hey, I'm starting to feel this. Oh, just adjust this routine a little bit, or you're not doing enough of that. But it's the perfect time. The biggest thing we can do right now is take advantage of the situation. I've already reorganized your drawers, you know, your sock drawer 4 times. Can't do that again. Make your body more efficient. And if you've had a therapeutic issue or something you've had to chronically take pills for, take advantage of it. It's like, this is the perfect time. I'm going to invest in myself. It's a one-time. You know, it's not very expensive compared to the long haul, and you don't have to spend a dime without checking it out first. Why wouldn't you take advantage of that? Yep. And then come out of this thing stronger and more efficient and able to handle stress.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. So, you heard Brian, take control of what you can control. This is one of those things. We'll have the link to schedule that free eval in the notes, and we'll see you next week.
And you'll get a 5% discount if you have one of these beers in your hand as you do the initial intake. Thanks, guys.